Hello, I'm Herb Smith. I'm happy to be here doing a living room concert series for RPO and the musicians of RPO. That first tune you heard was an etude um, from a Russian composer, Izbyani. And all of the tunes that I'm doing today, they all have kind of a special meaning, like different things, different parts of my life. So that first one was an etude when I was in school at Eastman. My teacher, Barbara Butler, she would reach into this drawer and pull out these etudes and just give them to you. And we never knew where they were coming from. They had this Russian writing on them. And one day I happened to be in Sibley Library. This is back in the days when you could actually go in there and touch the records. And I just went and found this book, and it had all this Russian writing on it. And I'm looking at these etudes. I'm like, wait a minute, I've played these before. So it turns out that I guess my teacher was getting these etudes from this book, and that was one of the etudes. That was number 6 etude. So the next tune I'm going to play for you is a tune by Otto Ketting. It's called Ketting Entrada. Ketting was a Dutch composer. He was a trumpet player, composer, and conductor, kind of like me. And I've played this piece many times. It's a great short little piece. It's called Entrada. It's usually something that you would play at the beginning of something. I actually recorded this piece on my CD, The Trumpet Show Sound, back in 2007, which I don't think you can get anymore. But so here we go. Otto Ketting's Entrada. Okay. All right. That was the Ketting Entrada. Next, I'm going to play a piece that I have played my entire life. I played this in high school. I actually auditioned for Eastman on this piece. I played this for Wynton Marsalis. When I was growing up, I had a little lesson thing with him. I played some of this for him. I then played it later in life with a concert band that played the accompaniment. This piece is like a piece that as a trumpet player, you never get done with the piece. It's called the Hummel Trumpet Concerto. I'll be playing it on B-flat trumpet, and I have a little accompaniment thing here that's going to play with me. And this piece was written by Johann Nepomuk Hummel in 1803. It was probably one of the only pieces written for trumpet in that classical period. Haydn wrote a piece, Hummel wrote a piece, Leopold Mozart wrote a piece a little bit earlier, but there's not a whole lot of classical trumpet concertos written. And so this piece just will always kind of fit that bill for trumpet. So here we have the first movement of the Hummel Trumpet Concerto. was Hummel, trumpet concerto, first movement. Takes me back to high school, being back in Cincinnati, Ohio, School for Creative and Performing Arts, playing that with the orchestra for the Corbett Award. That was a long time ago. That was like 1986. So the next tune, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to do a spiritual. The name of the spiritual is Were You There? I first heard this when I was in church with my family, Cincinnati, Ohio, at Greater New Light Baptist Church. Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth was the pastor. And I used to hear everyone sing this song. I never understood what it meant. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they nailed him to his side? I didn't understand what that meant. But it was basically like a feeling of, regardless of how bad things are, you are not going through it alone. There were people before us and after us that have gone through some bad times. And it just captures that spirit of, yeah, we're going through some times, but we're going to go forward. We're going to keep moving. And I think it's a song that's perfect for this time with the virus and everything that's going on in the world today. This song, Were You There, is actually a song that was a favorite of Mahatma Gandhi. The predecessor to Martin Luther King, one of the predecessors to Martin Luther King, Howard Thurman, he went to India on a trip and he met with Gandhi. Before he left, Gandhi asked him to sing this song for him. And Gandhi said these words. He said, I feel that this song gets to the root of the experience of the entire human race under the spread of the healing wings of suffering. So I'm going to do this tune, Were You There? And I have a little help with me. You're going to hear some singing. This singing is actually William Warfield. This is a recording from William Warfield's senior recital at Eastman. I got permission from the Warfield family, thank you, Thomas, if you're listening, to use this recording. And I'm going to have him sing while I play using my electronic pedals and stuff to create a background for his voice. I hope it comes out good on this recording and that you can hear everything. So here it is, Were You There, with William Warfield. I'll start this up first. All right. I want to thank you all for coming to the end of the program here. I guess it's only 30 minutes, well, but maybe we'll do a little question and answer at the end. The next tune is right now like my all-time favorite jazz piece. If you've looked at any of my posts, you've already heard me play this. I love this tune. It's called If I Should Lose You. It has a lot more meaning to me now, just because there are so many people that are passing away at this time. And hence these concerts, living room concerts, we're all in quarantine, but we're trying to make the most of it. This song, If I Should Lose You, the words to this song are, if I should lose you, the stars would fall from the sky. If I should lose you, the trees would wither and die. So it's just sentiment of like how much you love this person and you just do not want to lose them. And there's just so many people that are passing away right now that I'm sure, that's how I'm feeling for this. It just goes right to my heart. So thank you all for coming, enjoying this show. And this is the 6th installment of Living Room Series. And next week, Saturday, 6 o'clock, come right back here for the next one. It will not be me, but it will be someone equally as great. Thank you so much for coming. Here is If I Should Lose You. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. It was fun for me. And we'll see you at the next one. Take care.